everybody, and welcome to Tea Time. It is the last Monday in January. Holy cannoli, can you believe it? It is January 30th, 2023. I'm going to talk about my weekend real quick, then get to my guests. How do you love my set this week? Last week we were on the couch. This week we're in the chairs. I'm digging it. And wait till you see it in a few more weeks. It's going to even look different from now. All right, so let's talk about my weekend real quick. So I didn't do too much. I did a little bit because I had like this a 48-hour cold going on, and I've been popping like Zicam, which is worked tremendously. So Friday I stayed home, kind of babied myself, was having tea and soups and stuff like that. But Saturday night, my cousin Tina called me and she said, my friend Crystal's turning 40. I'm giving a surprise party. It's a Family Feud theme. Can you be the host? Because I can't get Steve Harvey. So I said, sure. I always wanted to be the white Steve Harvey. I'll come. I'll do it. So Bobby's got a couple of pictures. She had the set. She had the set of Family Feud. There it is. Look at how cool. There's Steve. Steve's at the bottom of the podium. Okay? And it was Family Feud. You can look up to the two tables. And there's Tina and I. That's my cousin Tina and I holding Steve. And it was so much fun. Thank you, Bobby. It was so much fun to do it, and everyone was into it, and it was just a lot of fun. So I'm glad I was able to pull it off and do that for her. It was a lot of fun because I do everything. So why not host the Family Feud? And then Sunday, again, I relaxed more as I can. And then I went to celebrate my future son-in-law, Stephen LaRose's birthday. His birthday's actually February 2nd. I made his favorite banana chocolate chip cake, and he loved it. And it was just nice to get together with the familia and have everybody together in Bayshore. All right, so look, I'm going to get to my guest. I'm excited. Nick Christophers is with me. He's a writer. He is an artist. He's also a promotion marketer, manager, does a little of everything. Hello, Nick. How are you?
It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you for coming to beautiful Massapequa.
Been here many times. I know the area.
Oh, good. I'm happy that you're here. So I really want people to get to know you. You've written a lot of things, but let's talk about where you're from. You're actually originally from Rockaway Park?
Right.
Is that where you're originally from?
That's correct.
Which is near... it's
Howard
by
Beach.
Howard Beach, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
in Queens.
Yep.
I'm a Corona girl, and then I moved to Bayside. And, but I heard some stories about you, and I do a lot of research on my guests. And we have something in common. When we were in elementary school, we got picked on.
Yes.
And back then, we didn't call it bullying. We called it being picked on. We were
Right.
picked on as kids. And you were very shy. You were very quiet kid. You were a good kid, like me. We were good kids. We didn't want to do anything. In the beginning, but we didn't want to do anything to, disappoint or hurt our parents, because
Pretty much.
respect was, big
Very
back then.
big.
So, you were picked on a lot as a kid. Me too. And you were very shy. But once you went to high school, you went to Lawrence High School? Is that where you went?
I went to junior high school, actually.
Oh, junior high school. Where'd you go to junior high?
Lawrence.
Lawrence Junior High.
Yeah.
And then where'd you go to high school?
Lawrence High School.
Lawrence High School.
Unfortunately.
Okay, but when you were was it junior high or high school, you kind of hooked up with the cool kid who was the head of a gang or something?
Yeah, junior high.
In junior high?
Yes.
Okay, so you befriended this kid and you're I'm not getting bullied in this school. All right?
Something like that.
And I want to make friends fast. And you wanted to join his gang. Now, gangs back then weren't gangs of today. They were just doing petty stuff and not getting in big trouble. But you had to be initiated into this gang, right?
Yeah.
So now I know what you had to do. But tell everybody else what you had to do to get initiated.
Well, the guy that I met actually was Greek like me.
Yes.
Just so happened.
Yes.
And that was already...
As a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Yeah.
And the other guy that was with him, Louis, was also Greek.
Right.
So that was, like I said, a big bonus, and it made us connect.
Yeah.
So yeah, you had to do something to get in. So I decided, smart me.
I'll tell you what I did. Go ahead.
I decided to go shoplift a Penthouse magazine.
Right.
I thought the guys would think that'd be pretty cool.
Right.
So back in those days, we used to have what we call a 5 and dime.
Yeah.
The 5 and 10.
Woolworth.
The 5 and 10.
Woolworth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was not too far from where I lived.
Right.
So I went in there, and it was in the summertime.
Yeah.
So I decided, I'm looking and said, what am I do? What am I do? So I saw the magazine. I said, perfect. So I pulled up my shirt and I shoved the magazine down my front of my pants.
Right.
I'm thinking, there's no camera. Those days there was no
Yeah,
camera.
no one was watching you back then.
Nobody's watching me.
Well, that's what you thought.
That's what I thought. So as I'm leaving, the cop or security guy, whatever he was there,
Yeah.
he tells me, where are you going? I'm going home. What do you mean, where am I going? And he goes, pull up your shirt. I said, I'm not going to pull up my shirt. What are you Fanuc or something? Pull up my shirt.
Right.
He says, don't be a wise ass. Pull up your shirt.
Right.
Back in those days, we respected the cops and we did what they told us to do.
Yeah.
So regardless of who we were.
Right.
So I pull up my shirt and lo and behold, there it is.
Yeah.
He says, what's that? Oh, how did that get there? So the cop took a little, he chuckled a little bit and said, okay, take it out. I took it out, gave it back to him.
Yeah.
He said, I need your phone number, your address, your father's name. I said, what for?
Right.
Just give me your information.
Right.
I gave him all the information.
And everything you gave him was like legit and correct.
Oh, no, it was
like
legit.
You didn't give him like a fake name or
No,
a fake
no.
number.
Because after I did that, I bolted out of there. You
Right.
understand? I was
Yeah.
I was
You
like
ran home.
I was like the Flash.
You ran.
I ran because he said he was going to call my house.
Right.
So I got there as soon as...
He didn't realize how close you were to home, though.
Probably not.
So
I got there as quick as I can.
Yeah.
And I happen to have a phone in my room.
Okay.
So I get there, the phone rings.
Yeah.
I grab it before anybody else does.
Yeah.
And then I grabbed the sock and I put the sock over the
you go,
receiver.
hello?
Yeah, I did that. Hello? Oh, hello, yeah, this is Mr. Michael. Yeah. What's the matter? Your son, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, I'll speak to him. Thank you very much, officer. To this day, my father has no idea that even happened.
Oh my God, that's like one of the best stories. Seriously,
It's true. That's
I mean,
exactly what
seriously,
happened.
like you were able to like get home in time to answer the phone before your dad could. Seriously, because if your dad,
Oh, forget
things could have turned out a little bit differently.
Well,
You know, if he answered the phone.
many years after that,
Yeah.
when I got arrested when I was 21
Right.
For assault, and my father, I stayed in the cell for like the weekend. My
Right.
father didn't bother picking me up.
Well, because he wanted you to learn a lesson.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So when he came there, I'm in the cell and the desk sergeant comes. They call the desk sergeant. So the desk sergeant comes to my thing and he bangs on it. Yo, Nick. Yeah, what can I do for you? He says, somebody posted
You made bail.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
made bail. Bail? Who paid for me? Your father did. I said, okay. He said, he's here to pick you up. Officer, did you see my father? Did you take a look at him?
Maybe I should stay another couple of days.
The guy's 6'1". He's a big guy, not muscular, but just a big guy.
Yeah.
And did you take a quick look? He says, yes. I said, would you go home with him? He goes, it doesn't matter. You made bail. I said,
my
officer,
God.
I'm fine here. You can tell him I'm not available.
That is so.
He says, no, you got to leave.
That's funny.
I walked
That's
out.
Funny.
I go to the front. My father's there.
Yeah.
We walk out of the precinct, and I'm going to the car.
Yeah.
Like an Uber. I sit in the back seat. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
So I said, but he doesn't say a word to me. The whole drive home says nothing.
Right.
I get home. Who kicks my ass? My mother.
Your mother.
My father didn't lay a finger on me.
Wow.
Didn't say anything to me.
Wow.
Which I thought was even worse.
Right.
When you
Right.
get the-
Yeah. The
when you get
silent
the silent
treatment.
treatment.
Yeah.
'Cause
My
you
dad
don't-
did that to me too. When my dad didn't talk to me, it hurt me more. It did.
It didn't hurt me. It
more.
just scared me more.
No, it hurt me. I guess it hurt me because it's kind of like I know I didn't want to disappoint and disrespect my parents in any way. So knowing like he's giving me the silent treatment and he's not happy with me, I was like, oh no, when is he going to talk to me again? Your dad actually owned a cafe.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I just want to talk about really quick how you after school you went to school. School of Visual Arts,
Right.
correct? And you got a BA in media.
When I straightened my life out,
Media
yes.
arts. You want to, but you always knew at a young age that you wanted to write because you saw a movie that kind of like changed your whole.
No, not a movie, a book.
I'm sorry, the book. The book before the movie. I apologize.
That's
Yes,
all right.
you read a book and it was called The Outsiders.
That's correct.
Which I know is one of, I didn't read the book. I saw the movie. So now I have to read the book.
It's very similar.
It's very similar. You said
Very
it's very,
similar.
very similar.
Oh my God. It's
Which a lot of people don't do. A lot of people say, oh, the book is better.
Yeah, ironically enough, you're right.
You know?
It's weird. This movie was right on point.
But The Outsiders touched your soul because you related with a couple of the characters. So tell me about that.
Well, when I was in junior high school,
Yeah.
I wasn't I wasn't the brightest guy in the world, and they had what we call today the I forgot the term, but it's the lower rung classes.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I wasn't in the average. I wasn't in the. We had the lower, the average, and the honor classes.
Right.
I was at the bottom.
Okay.
That's how I got to know the gang,
Yeah.
because they were all in those classes.
Yeah.
So I hung out with what we called the greasers.
Right.
So one of the English class, one of the requirements was to read a book, and this was the book they gave us,
Okay.
which I found kind of stupid. You can think about it. You're giving a bunch of gangsters a book to read about gangsters. I mean, that's kind of stupid. But anyway,
Relatable.
maybe that's the reason why.
Yeah.
So when I read the book, I love the two characters, Pony Boy and Johnny Boy.
Yes.
I liked them both, and I
Yeah.
kind of related to Pony Boy a lot. Not only was he also a writer,
Right.
but he was bullied by
Yes.
the socials, as
Yes,
they called
yes,
them.
yeah.
So I kind of I felt related to that character, and even with my situation.
Right.
So I felt, joining John and Lou with his gang, the perfect for me.
Yeah.
And that book is what made me start writing.
Yeah, you started writing at like a really young age, like 13, 14?
Yeah, 12, 13, yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly around
But
there.
then professionally, years later.
Much later.
Much later, you started writing professionally at like 24, 25, right?
Yeah.
And it was for
pretty much.
this magazine? Was it this magazine originally?
Well, it was I was writing way before that magazine even came
Okay.
around. I hooked around that age,
Yeah.
24 years old.
Yeah.
I started hanging around the city a lot with a lot of guys kind of the guys that you were going to talk about in my father's cafe.
Yeah.
One of them.
Because your dad. Well, you know what? You know what? Let's stop there. We're gonna take
Okay.
my first break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about his dad's cafe and who would patronize that cafe and who you were hanging around with, and it really influenced you and your writing and your work. So don't go away. More with Nick Christophers when we come back. Be right back.
Well, hi there, Teresa. It's John York from General Hospital. I am just checking in because apparently you have a great talk show called Tea Time on Strong Island TV. I want you to have continued great success and have a lot of fun. It sounds like you're having a lot of fun, and that's pretty much the key to everything, isn't it? So continued success. I'm proud of you. Have a great day, Teresa. Bye.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Tea Time. I'm so glad everyone's joining me tonight. Let's give some shout-outs to everyone watching. Devon is watching, Mickey Delaney, Ann, Brian, Joe DeBarry. Hey, you know Joe
I know Joe,
DeBarry. And thank you, everyone, for watching the show. Please like it. Please share it. Tea Time is on every Monday night, obviously. We're live here at beautiful Paradise Studios in Massapequa. But you could also catch Tea Time on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV. Every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Channel 20 for people who get cable vision. Everyone's watching. People watching at home now. If it's Saturday, you're watching my show. And if you're not doing anything tonight, Bobby's going to put up that flyer. My friends, Tanisha Gary and Dave Revels, are going to be performing this Saturday, February 6th. There's the flyer. Soul of America at the Argyle Theater. You have the Persuasions, and Tanisha does Aretha Franklin. There's a horn band there. This is an amazing show. Now, if you're watching this today on Saturday on Cablevision, and if you're not doing anything tonight, go to the Argyle Theater and go see that tonight. And if you're watching me live Monday tonight, right now, and if you're not doing anything, it makes a great Valentine's gift if you're not doing anything. Go see it. It's a great show. I love Motown, and there's nothing not to love about it. Thank you, Bobby, and thank you, John York from General Hospital, for your kind words. So getting back to Nick Christophers, he's Greek, Yasutikanes.
Gotta.
And I'm excited that he's here because we connected through friends. We have a lot of mutual friends on Facebook, but we left off talking about your dad, and your dad owned a cafe.
Yes.
And a lot of wise guys
Yes.
would come into your dad's cafe. So who did you meet and hang out with, and how did they influence you?
Well, one of the main guys that came in there a lot was, his name was Vic Arena. I knew the whole family because they lived a couple blocks away from me.
Right.
And he was, at that time, he was an acting boss of the Colombo family.
Okay.
He's doing life right now. Well, he's been doing life, unfortunately. So I knew the whole family.
Right.
I knew everybody.
Right.
I knew all his sons. We hung out together.
Yeah.
My brother played football with his one of his sons.
Uh-huh.
Great guy. He was always nice. Always came to my dad's place.
Right.
And every time when he came in there with 2 or 3 guys, they used to always go to the back of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Sit way in the back.
Right.
And nobody would ever sit anywhere near them.
Right.
They wouldn't let anybody
Yeah,
sit.
yeah.
Not them specifically.
Right.
Pretty much everybody knew, don't sit anywhere near these guys.
Right.
Because whatever they're talking about, they don't want nobody, whatever.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was.
Yeah.
But they were always he was always very friendly, the whole crew were always nice people to me.
Yeah.
I never had an issue.
Well, before the show, you and I were talking. And in my family, I'm 100% Sicilian, and we never were allowed to talk about the mafia. We weren't allowed to mention the mafia, talk about the mafia. I had a couple of cousins who kind of like disappeared, and I would say to my mom, what happened to cousin Frankie? Or what happened to cousin? Oh, he had to go away for a while to go to work. You know what I mean? And then he'd come back, and then I'd see my cousin, and we'd catch up and whatever, and but I never asked him about his job. But as I got older, you realize that my family's connected. Mm-hmm. In my case, it's the Gambino family, and this is from my mother's side and her cousins. So I have a couple of cousins who I spoke to you about before the show, and I'm like, do you know of them? And you said
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. One of them I'm actually friends with.
You're friends with his son,
yes,
who's also a cousin of mine.
Yeah. That's pretty
We won't mention who he is or what he does, but I was Googling my cousin to find out more about him, and that's when I said to my mom, tell me about the family a little bit. And years ago, she was reluctant, but in a way, I'm glad I can have that conversation with my mom now.
Yeah,
when it
good.
came to your dad's cafe, was he protected because they would gather there?
No, it wasn't really like that. I mean, they just it wasn't just Vic. It was a lot of guys. I mean,
Right.
Booby Sorsani.
But they just knew it was a place that they can go and
yeah. I mean, nobody would
gather.
bother them, whatever. Booby Sorsani, John Booby Sorsani was a good friend of mine.
Right.
He was part of Sonny Black's crew from the Donnie Brasco.
Yes.
And I used to hang out with him. He used to drive a white Lexus.
Yes.
And he had a house in Bell Harbor.
Uh-huh.
So he used to come there one time, and I went to Atlantic City with him once.
Uh-huh.
And I'll never forget it. He was playing, I think, poker or blackjack. I forgot what it was. And I was not sitting too far away from him, having a drink, just hanging out.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing, he was. So he turns to me, he goes, hey, Nick, yo. I said, John, what's the matter? He said, you got 5 G's.
5
I
G's?
said, no, I don't got 5.
Oh, Maron.
Can I borrow 5 G's from you? I said, John, for what? I said, I'm going to double up, man. I'm going to make a lot of money here. You and I can walk out of here good.
Yeah, okay.
I said, John, if I have 5 G's, you think I'd give it to you? He laughed at me. He goes, you cheap bastard, whatever. And
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. So he used to come in there a lot.
Right.
Every morning for coffee and eggs, every day.
Yeah.
Nicky Masson used to come in there.
Uh-huh.
And Nicky used to always sit right near my father was cooking.
Yeah.
Right next to him. And they used to, and my father, like most Greeks, they like to bet. My father, my uncle, my grandfather.
Yeah.
And Nicky would take horse bets from him and stuff like that. And Nicky was always good to me. And he goes, hey, yo, any concerts you want to go to? I would mention him. Like
right.
I mentioned John Cougar Mellencamp.
Okay.
I said, yeah, I'd like to see Mellencamp. Okay. Next day, he came into this place with 2 front row seats for nothing, free.
Wow.
Here, have a nice time. So, but I'll tell you.
You can get so spoiled and caught up in that world because it's kind of like, it's like fantasy. It's like a fantasy land. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it really is. I mean, it's kind of like.
When I saw John.
You know, let me wave my magic wand. Here you go, 2 tickets. Here you go. Poof.
But the funny thing is, we used to have a guy that come into the store all the time. And this is when I was about 13 years old.
Yeah.
And he used to come in the store and walk all the way to the back of the restaurant. Because my uncle had a office there where he did all the bills.
Yeah.
So this guy used to walk back there every day, every week, every Tuesday and every Saturday.
Okay.
I'm like, where's this guy going? So, because I'm being protective of my father's place.
Sure.
I'm like, Dad, where's this guy going? Don't worry about it.
Okay.
All right, don't worry about it. I got curious. I'm 13. I was like, what is this? I realized that the guy, Sally, that used to go there was our bookie.
Okay.
It was my father's bookie.
Right.
And back then we had what they call football sheets.
Yes.
Long sheets.
Yes.
They were green, they were white.
Uh-huh.
And everybody used to bet on them.
Yeah.
So I realized, oh, that's what this guy's doing. Mm-hmm. So me, smarty pants that I am, at 13, hanging out with those guys at the school, I took those football sheets, went to the local library, and made
a
Xerox
copy,
copies.
and you
made
sold
a bunch of Xerox
boxes
copies.
at school, right?
And I was getting all the Jewish kids were betting with me. I was making like $500 a week.
Wow.
So
not bad for 13.
not bad for 13. So my father found Ferragamo shoes in my closet.
Oh, he wanted to know how you paid for
How
them.
do I get a Ferragamo? Me, 13-year-old kid. So I come home, he's standing there holding the shoes.
Where'd these come from?
Where'd these come from? I bought them at the thrift store. You don't buy these at a thrift store. Who are you kidding? I said, where'd you get the money? Helping you, Dad, at the restaurant.
Right.
I only worked there one day a week.
I was going to ask you if you worked for your
Yeah,
dad at
I
the
helped.
cafe.
So we all,
Okay.
the whole family did.
Right.
And he goes, you don't make enough money to get this in one day. No way.
Right.
And then he said, what's this? He found one of the football sheets.
Oh.
I unfortunately had them under my chair,
Okay.
on my desk. I
Yeah.
forgot to take it.
Busted.
Oh, man. I said, I was betting, Dad, to give it to Sally. No, you weren't. This is a Xerox copy. You think I'm stupid here?
Yeah.
He says, you got to stop this.
Right.
If Sally finds out, or the guys at the office, meaning, the office, you know what I mean?
Right.
They ever find out that you have a side hustle and Sally's not getting the money,
Yeah.
you're both in trouble.
Yeah.
You got to stop.
Yeah.
I stopped, obviously.
All right.
But, man, that money was good.
I know. It's fun, too. It
was a lot of fun.
It's easy money. So I want to know, because for a Greek man, you know a lot about Italian mafia. Mm-hmm. You do. I mean, but not only Italian. I mean, you like specialize in Italian, but then there's other, every nationality, every group has their own,
Criminal element.
Yeah, pretty much. You got the
pretty much.
Russians, and you have the Greeks, and you have, So my whole thing is that what I want to ask you is, because obviously you've written many things. What to you is the most accurate mob movie out there that's been told?
None.
Really?
Well, okay, one
One.
that I can say, because Goodfellas is inaccurate, Donnie Brasco's inaccurate, Casino's inaccurate, Irishman's inaccurate. They take creative license to another level. Kill the Irishman
Kill the Irishman.
was pretty accurate. Well, I mean, You mean in the sense of what the life is like? Or...
Just something that you watched and you said, you know what? They nailed it.
Well, Kill the Irishman, they nailed it in the accuracy of it,
Right.
of the story,
Right.
you know, of Danny Green. My friend Vinnie Vella was in that film. Mm-hmm. So that was, in a sense of accuracy, I would say Kill the Irishman. In the sense of what the life is really like,
Yeah.
Donnie Brasco.
Yeah.
Or Goodfellas,
Yeah.
either one.
Well,
That's
you
what it's
know,
like.
I had you were at Soprano/MobCon because I saw
Yes.
you had a picture of Michael Madsen,
Yes.
and I was lucky enough to interview him, and
Great
that
guy.
was one of my favorite films, and I told him that was Donnie Brasco. He was great in that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He was really, really, really good in
Too
it.
bad it was very inaccurate, but otherwise a good movie.
So you started writing for magazines. I'm going to hold one
Yes.
up real quick called Mop Candy. So that's Mop Candy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Gianni Russo on the cover. Gianni Russo played
Carlo Rizzi.
I want to get it right. Sonny in The Godfather beat the crap out of him.
Yes.
Took the cover of the garbage can because he was beating up his sister, if you remember. And I'm excited to tell you that Gianni Russo will be here on Tea Time. We're going to finalize a date, but I'm going to get him on. So I'm excited about that. And you have written pretty much everything in here.
Pretty much.
I mean, everything. Seriously, like everything. And we have another pic. There's a pic of you. Now that's Stephen Bauer all the way to the right.
Right, who played
and
in,
Stephen was in Scarface.
Scarface.
So who's in the center with you?
His name is Emilio Rosso. He's that picture is I was attending a premiere of Emilio Rosso's film, which is about the Israeli mafia, which is very interesting.
The Israeli mafia.
Israeli mafia, yeah.
Really?
They were pretty powerful here in the late 70s to 80s.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody really knew too much about them.
Right.
Because we're so, again.
Hush, hush. Yeah, again.
hush.
Something you don't talk about, right?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to talk about it.
Like the Greeks, the same thing. The Greek mob, the same thing. They were very quiet. I tell people there was a Greek mob, they look at me like, what, there is? I'm like, yeah,
Okay,
it
now
was.
listen. So now, La Cosa Nostra and the mafia, they all mean the same thing, but they're all a little different in the same way as mafia in United States.
What do you mean, compared to Sicily?
Compared to, right, Sicily.
Oh, well, there's a bit of a difference.
Yeah, there is.
No
No, there
doubt.
is. Is there also a difference with the Greeks as well?
Well, I mean, in Greece?
And here?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, in Greece, they're not. I mean, right now they're pretty much decimated because they had what they call the mob trial back in 2010.
Yeah.
Where they
Well,
kinda
like you said, even here because of Giuliani,
Yeah.
everything was pulled apart.
Pretty much. But back in Greece, it's not called the mafia. It's called the syndicate.
The syndicate.
And they were pretty prominent in Greece.
Right.
They even had a guy, Angelopoulos, who was considered the Greek Escobar.
Really?
Pablo Escobar.
Uh-huh.
He ran the whole cocaine trade in Greece.
Really?
Big time.
Wow.
So a lot of people don't know all that. You know,
Right.
They think Greece, they think of diners. You know, you know, we did a lot more than diners.
Right.
You know, and ironically enough, a lot of diners that people may know, may not know.
Yeah.
There's always gambling in the basement.
Okay.
Always.
Okay.
Pretty much.
All right.
But the Greek mob is not really in the same. Doesn't have the structure that the Italians did.
Right.
It's nowhere near that.
Yeah.
It's more like a group of 30, 40 guys that just do their business.
Right.
They pay the Italians so they can keep operating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's pretty much how it worked.
You speaking about Greek, you want to hold that up? It's
Yeah.
called Mafia Ties.
Yeah.
The Greek
Syndicates.
The Greek syndicates.
Yeah.
Mafia Ties the Greek syndicates. That's one of the four, and you're working on a fifth book that you have written. That was what, number 3 out of the 4?
This is number 3.
Number 3 out of the
That's
4.
correct.
I got it right. And just tell me briefly a little bit about that book.
Well, this book, the interesting part about it is, I was originally gonna write a biography. Is it biography? I was gonna write a story about the actual boss of the Greek crew in Astoria,
Okay.
who I know personally. I knew his whole family.
Okay.
Spiro, his first name.
Right.
And I was supposed to write about his life story.
Spiro, he's been in jail since 1992.
That's correct. And
you like that? You like how I know? You like how I know this? Okay.
Yeah, that's very good.
You're welcome.
So I was supposed to write a story about him.
Right.
I have all the FBI tapes from that case, from his case.
Wow.
Everything. I have Gotti on the tape. I have all that stuff. And he was okay with it.
Wow.
I went to visit him in prison twice. And through his daughter, I went down, talked to him, you know. He called me on the phone, wrote letters to each other.
Yeah.
So he was okay with me writing a life story about his life story.
Wow.
So I did. So I sent him the first chapter,
Yeah.
second chapter like that.
Yeah, he didn't like it.
He called me up. Hey, Nico. I said, hey, how you doing, Spiro? How you doing? Good, good. I got the papers, thank you very much, but you make me sound like an Al Capone. I said, Spiro, well, you weren't a choir boy. What do you want me to say? He only wanted me to write about how they screwed him over. How the government, which they kind of did.
Right.
Not kind of, they did.
Yeah.
But I told him, I said, we can't just write about the government. Nobody cares.
Right.
I mean, it's important to put in the book.
Right,
yeah.
right. But it can't just be the whole thing.
Yeah, we got to write what happened from A to W and then get to Z.
Right, right. He
didn't want
wanna
to do it.
Yeah.
I understand. He's old school.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, all right. So I decided I'm going to just write about every Greek gangster that ever was around.
Wow.
Not just in New York. I cover in this book, it's why it's 300 pages.
Wow.
I covered New York, Chicago, Philly,
Amazing.
Canada,
Amazing.
Greece. I'm all over the place.
And
So
where do you get your information from?
I get it from people I know on the street. Some of
Okay,
it,
okay.
most of the New York chapter,
Right.
from guys in the street I know.
Okay.
That told me stuff.
All right.
And the other, of course, some of the other states who I don't know people.
Yeah.
I just did major research.
Right, right.
Dug deep. In Greece, I know somebody there.
How often do you go to Greece?
Not as often as I would like.
No, I've never been. I was supposed to go
It's
over
gorgeous.
the summer and I couldn't get there.
It's
so.
amazing there.
Yeah,
but
I gotta get there.
I haven't been there since '94.
Oh wow, you do.
I love to go back.
Yeah.
One of these days.
All right, listen. Well, we're gonna take my next break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about Destinies. We're gonna talk about Destinies when we come back, which was your first
book. That's correct.
All right, so stay right there. Don't go away. Be back after this.
Wonder Woman was everything to little girls, especially that look like me. She stands for being a voice for people that need a voice. My organization renovates homes for people with disabilities. And when I come home, a self-care routine makes me feel my best. I'm very proud of the difference that we're making, and to see that impact in my community inspires me to work even harder for everyone around me.
How you doing? It's Sal the Voice Valentinetti. Why are you watching me? You should be watching Teresa Canastraci Tea Time with Teresa Canastraci Farrell. And make sure you follow Teresa on Facebook. Tea Time with Teresa Canastraci Farrell. We'll see you there.
I love the way you say my name. I love. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tea Time. I am with Nick Christophers. He is a writer, he's an artist, he's a promotion, marketing manager. He's done so much stuff, and he's written 4 books, and he's working on a 5th. And we just talked about Mafia Ties, the Greek syndicates, which is his 3rd book. But we're gonna talk about Destinies, which was your first book, your very, 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 very first book.
Yes.
That you wrote. It is on Amazon. People could get it on Amazon.
All my books are.
Well, yeah, all his books are on Amazon.
Actually, this one is getting republished by a Canadian publisher. Should be out
Really?
soon.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Different cover and
so,
everything.
tell me about Destinies, because the main character is a woman.
Yes. You want me to tell you the story about it?
Well,
A synopsis?
a quick synopsis would be okay.
Okay,
You
without
don't have to
giving
give
it-
everything away.
It's hard to give a synopsis without giving it away, but yeah, the main character is Nina.
Nina. Yes, that's my
she-
cousin's name, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why I like the name Nina a lot. That's why I used it.
Yeah.
And she, unfortunately, gets mixed up with somebody after being, helping this guy out, and he happens to be a wise guy. She doesn't know it at first,
Right.
and she later gets forced to work for that mob family that he's part of.
Right.
And but eventually, as time progresses, they fall in love.
Right.
They get married.
And they have a
Santo's
kid.
his name,
Right.
Sant'Angelo.
Yeah.
They get married, and then they have they eventually have a boy, a
Right.
son, Tommy.
Right.
And
All right, don't give anything else away because I know what happens to her and I know what happens to the kid. It's really, really good. And I'm excited that you're actually going to make this into a movie. You want to make this into a movie. This is your
Yes.
dream to make it into a movie.
Yes.
I'm very excited for you because I love the concept.
Thanks.
I know the rest of the story.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, and it's kind of like what I told you about my cousin's wife on the way to go see him in jail
Yeah.
and what happened to her.
Some to that degree.
You know, something to that degree, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And when I read it and heard of it, I was like, that's what it brought me back to was my
gotcha.
cousin's wife. And so it's really good. Everyone should pick it up and read it. And it's exciting that you want to make it into a film. You did do a teaser or a trailer or I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah, we shot a little promo.
A little promo of it.
With my director, Sean King.
Right.
He's a great guy. He's got his own film called Brooklyn Ties that's coming out.
Yes.
And we shot it. I never put it out because I
Right.
wasn't really happy with it.
Okay.
But I did recently submit it to the LA Web Fest.
Right.
So I'm just waiting for an answer from them.
Okay.
It's already won 2. It was a Big Apple Film Festival. I was a finalist. And then there was another Las Vegas Film Festival.
And who'd you want to say who you had in the teaser or?
They're not. Well,
Well, I know Joe DeBarry,
Joe DeBarry's
who's a
in
friend
it.
was in the teaser.
Louis Massantuno.
Okay.
Who's a actor for many years.
Yeah, yeah.
He was in Tulsa King with.
Yes,
He was
with
with
Sly.
Stallone.
Yeah,
So those 2 actors are pretty well.
That's
They're
nice.
well
Yeah,
established.
that's nice.
The other 2 actors were 2 young kids that we used.
yeah.
But they were good. I mean, Eli
Yeah.
Kennedy was great. I thought he was very
But
good.
it's exciting. You know how exciting is it? Like, you have an idea, you put it on paper, and then one day you're gonna go, oh my God, that's what I wrote, and it's on a big screen. It's
Well,
exciting.
I first was with a company in Florida.
Okay.
And I can't remember the name of the company right now. It was 3 years ago, whatever the hell it was. And,
Yeah, right before COVID.
Yeah, it was right before COVID.
Yeah.
And the lady was great.